let's look at example code for switch statements. Let's say um, you have a variable named day and it is of integer type. And based on the value of day, you want to print out the string that represents that day. So if the value of day is 1, we want to print out Monday. If the value of day is, let's say, 5, we want to print out Friday, right? We can do this with an if-else statement, as you've seen before. But how would we do this with a switch statement? Here, we define another variable named dayString. Again, we don't assign its value right here. We assign its value inside the switch statement. So because we are changing our output based on the value of day, we would switch here between the values of day. Great. If the value of day is 1, that would be case 1, then the value of dayString would be Monday. We would assign Monday, the string, to the variable dayString. And then we'll write break. In the same way, we'll do it for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And for each of these numbers, we'll assign the value of dayString to be the corresponding day of the week. If the value of day is something else, if the value of day is not 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, let's say the value of day is 9 or 0 or something else, in that case, the default part would be used and it would say invalid day. The value of dayString at that point, we want to assign invalid day to the variable dayString. And in the end, we just print out the value of dayString. So let's see how this program works. So you see, since we input 3 as the value of day, Wednesday was printed out. If we change this value to, let's say, 7 and run this again, then Sunday would be printed out because we defined that if the value is 7, then the value of dayString variable would become Sunday. And then in the end, we would print out dayString. What if the value of day is something else, let's say 99? In this case, the default value would be used because the program would come here first. It'll see that the value of day is 99. It is not 1, so it'll jump here. It is not 2, jump here. Not 3, jump here, jump here, jump here. And then it'll jump here. It'll see that the value of day is not 7. And so since it did not find any of the cases to match the value of the variable day, it goes to the default part and just says, and just assigns invalid day to dayString, and that is what is printed out. And that is how a switch statement works. I want to show you something else here as well. What if we are not changing, or what if we don't want to change the value of variable day here? What if we want to take the input of the variable day from the user? When we run the program, after that, the user of the program will be able to input some value here, and based on their input, we want to print out the name of the day. How would we do that? There is something called a scanner, and that is a function that we can use in order to take inputs from users in the output console. And this is the output console. So I'll just paste the code here and explain what's going on. So at first, what we do is we define the scanner. We define a scanner named in. in is a variable which is of scanner type. And again, scanner is a class, and we'll talk about classes later, but scanner here can be thought of as the data type of the variable in. And in this variable, what we're trying to do is that we're creating a scanner that would take input from the system. So we don't need to go too much into the details of how scanners work, but we will understand this once we cover a few other things in this course. But just at this point, understand that this is how we use a scanner. Now, at that point, what we want to do is we want to give the user some idea of what we want them to do for us. So we'll just print out, please enter a number between 1 and 7. And that statement would just print this string out and do nothing else really. After that, whatever input the user has input in the console, we want to take that into a variable named user input. And again, we don't need to go into too much detail of how this is working, but this is just taking the input that the user had placed in the console, and it is putting that value in this variable, which is of string type. And in the end, we're changing that value to an integer type using this command. There's a lot going on here, and we don't necessarily need to understand everything that's going on here. This is just to show you how we can take input from the user. So because we have defined day here, it is the program is giving us an error saying that day has already been defined as an integer variable type. So we can only define it once. So let's just delete the first time we defined it and keep this part. At this point, day is a variable that is being taken as input from the user. And let's see how this program works. So you see, at first it prints out, please enter a number between 1 and 7. And it is waiting for the user to print something on the screen. So let's say I input 5 and press enter. And you see, it's giving me the value Friday, which ultimately is the value that we associated with the value 5. If the variable day has the value 5, then Friday would be printed, right? And here I input 5. That input was taken into the variable day, and that is why Friday was printed. So now you know how switch statements work, but you also know how to take inputs from the user in the output console.